Hi, my name's Julie Reid and I'm the founder of Portfolio Oomph, getting you into art college. And this is our online hub where you can find all things relating to applying to art college in the UK. So welcome to our training. Our training's here, it's going to last about 30 minutes and it should get you well informed and ready for your application to an art college in the UK. We'll start straight away, as I know your time as well as mine is valuable. So I take these things really seriously. So to get the most from the training, it's best that you go and switch off Facebook, Twitter and any other distractions, because I think I can multitask, especially when I'm listening whilst emailing and writing. But please give this webinar your full attention to get the most from it. You might want to take some notes, so please grab a pen and some paper and we'll get started. So the training, it'll last approximately 30 minutes and it'll inform you enough to take the next steps to making the right decisions to reach your goal of getting into a UK Art College undergraduate programme. I also ask that you stay to the end, as we've got a free gift for you that will help you get on your way today. So what you're going to be learning today in the free training is a simple step-by-step way to ensure that you're fulfilling the requirements of the art colleges here in the UK. So just a bit of a background then. So why study in the UK? The UK has a strong and successful history of trading with all parts of the world, and its creative industries are a huge success story, delivering over 17.9 billion of exports in 2013, or approximately 8.7% of all UK exports. It's an originator and an amplifier of global trends. The UK is seen by trends forecasters as a key market, and if trends don't take root in the UK, they're unlikely to be considered truly global. It's an open and attractive market for creative investment. UK creativity is defined by its openness to outside ways of thinking and collaborations. It offers educational excellence. According to the World University Rankings produced by the Times Higher Education and Thomson Reuters, the UK has 7 out of the top 50 universities in the world. And it's an innovation nation. The UK is an innovation-driven economy. Between 2000 and 2009, more than 60% of productivity growth came from innovation. So from fashion to film, architecture to advertising, UK creatives have a well-earned reputation for challenging conventions and embracing the new with professionalism and flair. So by studying a creative subject in the UK, the natural progression will be to work in our buoyant creative industries, and this is what we're aiming for. How exciting. So what prompted you to click on our Facebook ad to join our training here? As a prospective student, have you trawled the art college and university websites for information but still can't figure out what they're asking for in your art college submission? If you're not in the UK, it's quite difficult to obtain accurate information about applying to art college in the UK, partly because you're not able to visit the colleges for their open days, but because your education system is probably quite different to here in the UK. Our reason for making this presentation is to enable students like you, both outside but also inside the UK, to build your confidence and make a stronger application, guide you through the UCAS process and reach your full potential whilst creating your portfolio, because this is the crux of your application. So maybe you're already in the UK, where you've probably been to open days and you've seen examples of successful portfolios and you've felt quite fired up and excited to get started. But then you return home and a day or two later you're feeling pretty stuck again, not really knowing how to start. And this can be really demoralising, but we can help to change this. Also, time is ticking, and you know that it actually takes quite a lot of time to get a portfolio right. It's a lot of work. So, you're about to discover how you can create a successful art portfolio. You're about to discover why what you're currently doing is likely not to be enough for an art college application in the UK. And there are 5 steps that we're going to walk you through in this training right here. So in addition to this, I'm going to reveal 5 super common, super costly mistakes that keep students like you stuck on how to get a place in the UK art colleges. And more importantly, I'm going to give you immediate and practical ways to avoid these mistakes forever. And this means showing you a few simple strategies that can change your thinking immediately. And if you were to receive offers from some of the UK's best colleges, imagine how that would feel. So first of all, why should you be learning from me? How am I qualified to be teaching you? The tutoring website that I run, Portfolio Oomph, is the only website that provides online tutorials specifically aimed at students creating a art college portfolio for UK colleges and universities. We've worked with many students to get great results from their college applications. I worked at Edinburgh College of Art for 9 years, working with students on the first year course and interviewing potential candidates for this course, including assessing international student digital portfolios. I also visited schools in Scotland to talk and inform about their portfolios to students, but their parents as well. And in this time, we've had many students accepted for colleges at Edinburgh College of Art, Glasgow School of Art, Kingston University, Manchester Met University, Falmouth School of Art, and the University of Brighton. And some of these students now are studying fashion, sculpture, environmental art, photography, painting, graphic communication, performance costume, landscape architecture, and many other subjects. So I wanted to share with you Yashi's story, and this is what's really driven me to creating this programme. Last May, we worked with a student from India who had previously made an application to Edinburgh College of Art. And she'd been unsuccessful and received feedback which was pretty standard. It was grades based and, all in all, to be honest, not that helpful and rather confusing for the average person. And she came to Edinburgh to visit to try and find out more. She found our website and she turned up out of the blue at my door one Monday morning. To cut a long story very short, we arranged to work together every morning for 4 weeks. And in this time, we laid down the foundations of a strong portfolio in the creative process. We worked on a project that was a blueprint that she could then take back home with her and repeat with a different idea or project. And it's this blueprint that we'll be teaching you if you choose to work with us further. It was imperative that she followed our advice with not too many deviations to get the most out of the short time that we had together. So she returned to India to finish her folio, and we communicated via Skype to complete the work. So a month later, she was accepted to Edinburgh College of Art and Glasgow School of Art, and she was thrilled. And given that Glasgow School of Art last year, 52 students applied from India and only 2 were accepted, then this is pretty outstanding. And it's not that these students who don't get in aren't talented, they've just not been taught how to think creatively in relation to what the art colleges in the UK are looking for. So this can be nurtured, and we can help you to do the same here, where this is just the very beginning of that process. And we've also worked with many students in the UK creating portfolios, and they've been successful in gaining places at some of the UK's most competitive art colleges. So a testimonial. This is from Yashi's mother. It was by accident that my daughter Yashi and I discovered Portfolio Oomph. My heartfelt gratitude and a big thanks to Julie Reid of Portfolio Oomph. Her careful nurturing, great advice and mentoring helped my daughter to realise her dream of studying at a University of Edinburgh. Portfolio Oomph delivers all that it promises. And actually from Yashi herself. Thanks to Portfolio Oomph, I got admission to Edinburgh College of Art. A year back, I would not have known how to create a portfolio and what universities look for in a promising student. But with Julie's guidance and teaching, I began to realise the process, and she helped me right down to the minute details. Thanks, Julie, you really helped me. So the same year, we worked with a student, Ellie, here in the UK, regularly for an hour every 4 to 5 weeks, for just an hour each time to gain 5 places at some of the UK's most prestigious art colleges for fashion design. And she's now studying at Edinburgh College of Art. So a testimonial from Ellie. One of the most useful things that I learned about Portfolio was in terms of developing my sketchbooks and really learning how to use a sketchbook. Having someone to really just talk through my ideas with, because sometimes I would become confused and a bit lost on my project. Having that guidance and support from someone who knew about the process and who knew about how hard it was to get into college was key. So what do we have to offer you in this training? We'll talk to you about what you might already be doing to create a successful portfolio. We'll talk about your frustrations and why you can't find enough information on the subject. We'll look at misunderstandings about portfolios for art college. And we'll explore the 4 essential elements of a strong portfolio, the creative process. And we'll also talk about how we can help you. Okay, so what are you currently doing to create a successful portfolio? Maybe you're currently at school and you're following a school curriculum. Or maybe you're adding to this by studying an evening class in life drawing, felt making or pattern cutting, for example. Maybe you're studying some weekend masterclass course in a specific technical skill such as printmaking, stone carving or weaving. This is usually a waste of your time and money in my eyes unless you have a strategic plan, and you'll unlikely be covering all 4 of the basic essential elements of a strong portfolio that we'll get onto soon. You might even be in full-time employment and doing any number of these things to build a portfolio, or you might be on a foundation course specifically designed to get you from further education onto your dream course at higher education, art college or university course. But if you're doing any of these except for the foundation course, the chances are that this is not enough. And why is that, you might be thinking? Well, the colleges and the universities want to see that you're doing work outside of school, that it's self-directed, showing a real passion. And if you're only studying the school curriculum, then it will be clear that you're not really doing anything other than what's expected, and that it will be very teacher-led. And this might be enough for some of the courses, but if you're aiming for something like fashion, say at some of the leading colleges in the UK, I'm afraid this just won't cut it. They're very competitive, and you really do have to go the extra mile to turn heads. So if you're adding to the school curriculum with the extra evening classes, then that's great, but it needs to be a joined up approach. And by this we mean there needs to be some continuity of ideas and a strategic approach, and we can help with that. If you're studying life drawing, which incidentally isn't essential, it needs to be A, because you enjoy it, and B, because it's relevant to the main subject that you're applying to. So, for example, if you're applying for product design or an interior design course, then I would be expecting to see drawings of 3-dimensional objects, interesting interior spaces, architecture, and basically anything that shows your understanding of man-made forms, not life drawing. And this might sound obvious, but you'd be surprised at how often this can happen. Drawing is important, but that can be from any subject matter that really floats your boat if the figure doesn't. So don't just endure life drawing because you think it's what you need, because the colleges want to see it. If you don't enjoy it, then it will show in your work, and then why include work that you don't feel excited and passionate about? It will show, and you'd be better off finding something that you do feel excited about and put all that energy into that. So we'll talk about your frustrations and why you can't find enough information on the subject. So in your travels around the colleges or the internet, you'll see and you'll hear many tutors talking about making this personal portfolio. It needs to be something different, something amazing. It needs to be something unique. And this is all fine and well, and I'd be asking the same, and I did when I went to art college. How do you do it? I knew it had to be these things, but I didn't know how I was going to show them what they wanted to see. And now, I can't do the work for you, and I can't tell you word for word what you need to do, as your input is essential, as that's what will create this individual portfolio that's different, unique and amazing. However, what I can do is I can guide you to explore your interests, ideas and passions, and I can engage you in a critical reflection of your work that will direct you towards this goal. The course that we're building, soon to be available, will engage you in projects that are structured but allow for a personal element to be applied. And our tutorials will help shape your voice through your portfolio. And that's why you can't find enough information on the subject. You'll find many students willing to show their successful art college portfolios online. There's sites like the Student Art Guide that show some amazing GCSE and A-level work portfolios. Many, I'm sure, do get into art college. But they don't show you the process required to do this for yourself with your own ideas, as it's tempting then to copy somebody else's ideas, but the colleges tend to see right through that. So the misunderstandings about a portfolio for art college. Many people think that a good portfolio is a collection of their best work that clearly shows their style and their strengths only. So here we reveal the 5 costly mistakes. Number 1 is that you focus too much on the final piece, missing out great swathes of research and/or development. Number 2, you try and show too many different ideas and techniques, therefore not exploring any in the depth that's required. Number 3, you start too late. Some digital portfolios are required by mid-January. Number 4, you don't get your digital portfolio showing your work at its best. And number 5, you think that drawing is the be-all and end-all, but it's not a passport to a place. So I'll tell you a story quickly, and some of it relates to these points above. I was a student who many years ago didn't get a place at art college, in fact 3 art colleges, and I was absolutely gutted because I thought my portfolio was great, honestly. The thing I didn't realise was that it said nothing about me. what I was interested in, and it showed quite clearly that my passion for art hadn't really been ignited. Okay, I could draw and I could paint, but the subjects I was drawing and painting were really dreary in hindsight. But hindsight's a marvellous thing, so learn from mine, please. I did lots of paintings of poppy seed heads, flowers and shells, if I'm honest, because I didn't really know what else to do, and it was just stuff we had lying around at home, and it showed. If I had to describe in a nutshell what your portfolio should be, it's this. Something that shows your unique qualities, and by this I mean work that demonstrates how you see the world. The word individuality will crop up a lot, something that is different to what's been previously seen before. So drawing should be highly evident, and we'll discuss this more on our course. A range of materials and techniques should also be evident. But I didn't discover this until I found myself begrudgingly repeating my foundation diploma to build my portfolio, when thud, the penny finally dropped and my interests were broadened. My portfolio flourished with some excellent support from my tutors at Chesterfield College. I secured a place at 2 colleges the following year, and I took up my place at Duncan of Jordenston College of Art in Dundee. But having said that, I still don't really think at the time what I knew what I'd actually done to get into art college, and it happened to just be a byproduct of being determined and focused, which in turn showed in my portfolio. So what should it not be? It shouldn't be a combination of projects that your teacher has set where you've taken no initiative to apply your own personal stamp. When I used to interview applicants at Edinburgh College of Art, we'd interview the applicants from the same colleges and schools on the same day. Why do you think we might do this? No, it's not so that they could all feel comfortable with their friends around them for interview, I hasten to say. No, it was so that we could see all the portfolios together so that we could compare like with like, and to see if there were any common themes between portfolios. And we'd often see that applicants from some schools had pretty much the same portfolio, just of varying standards. So what does this say, do you think? Well, I think it says that these students are doing basically what they've been asked to do by the teachers and nothing more. Remember my experience? I was so unmotivated by the subjects that I was drawing and painting, but just by being able to draw isn't a ticket to art college these days. So here we'll introduce you to the creative process. And to ensure that points 1 and 2 that we've just mentioned are achieved, it's essential that you follow this graphic that's the creative process to achieve your dreams. Some colleges and universities will term what they want to see in a slightly different way, and they may be asked for work to be shown in a different group of headings than this, but essentially it's all the same thing, but just different terminology. So, research and visual inquiry, we've got development, contextual awareness, and final outcomes, critical reflection. So let's get ready to start to cover these 4 points. Research. Research is the initial exploration and importantly recording of ideas, things, places, objects, notions, and the collection of these before any creative process can begin. It should be a broad-ranging and in-depth, experimental, investigative, personal approach that leads you to know more about your subject. So it will provide a creative direction and purpose to your efforts. Much of it can be done in your sketchbook and should be done where possible in your sketchbook. So your sketchbooks are imperative, and we'll give you advice about these in our course. And in this research section there should also be artists and designers that you're looking at that can inspire and influence your work. And this crosses over into the contextual awareness section that you'll see here, section 3. The development phase follows your research that brings all your ideas and research together. You'll have produced mountains of work, mountains of research, hopefully. Now it's time to sort the wheat from the chaff, good from bad, and take a small number of ideas forwards. This decision making needs to be documented in your sketchbook as it helps to fulfil section 4, critical judgment. So, contextual awareness. In this section on context is now essential to explore other artists and designers if you haven't already done so. Think artists and designers that have used ideas of a similar nature to you, or maybe they've used materials in a way that inspires you, or any artist really that inspires you in any way. It doesn't have to be artists working in the same field as you, it can be wide-reaching. But the thing you need to do though is to thoroughly identify what it is about these artists that inspire you. It's not good enough just to say, I just like it. Why do you like it? And why is it relevant? So resolved work, critical judgment and selection. The final element of this 4-section formula is about how you're making choices and decisions along the way about what's good and what's not so good. How well do you judge which ideas have the most potential and ability to bring it to a level of completion that's appropriate to your intended outcome? When you've got a sketchbook full of ideas, models perhaps, then you have to commit to making something for presentation. So you have to make certain choices, don't you? What were those choices along the way? And to implement this, you need to follow these 5 steps. So do your research on what each and every college you want to apply to is looking for, and the deadlines, portfolio guidelines for the submission are. Each college will have a different way of organising their portfolio submissions with different dates. I know, really annoying, really frustrating and really time consuming, but sadly that's the case. So 2, planning and organising. Get yourself organised, write stuff down, start now and get deadlines in order. You can even start your UCAS statement now, and there's no time like the present. The life of an artist or designer can seem quite laid back and bohemian, but this approach cannot work well if you're not organised. This year I had 2 students approach me for mentoring just 4 weeks ahead of the deadlines for the Edinburgh College of Art digital portfolio. And not surprisingly, they didn't get in, but they did have the potential to, and they might have done had they come to me 4 months or even 3 months ahead of the deadline. There's very little that I or anyone can do to help you in such a short time. So start now. Number 3, getting up close and personal. What makes you tick? What interests have you? What obsessions have you got? Your portfolio is about you, not your teacher or your mum or your friends. So don't explore subjects and topics that they suggest unless it's really something that genuinely appeals to you. I worked with a student this year who showed me her work and her project was around restraint. And it was in terms of personal restraint, holding back emotions and feelings that interested her. She'd got some beautiful drawings of greyhound dogs in her sketchbook, and I asked her about them and why she'd drawn them. Her answer was that they were her teacher's dogs, and he'd suggested drawing them because he liked them, and that they were being looked after in the school that day in the classroom. He liked the idea of restraint in connection to animals, but we had this kind of long discussion about whether or not this was of interest to her and how she could work with the idea. But to be honest, the upshot was that it wasn't interesting her at all, and she really wanted to follow her own ideas. So she eventually talked to her teacher about this, and she managed to convince him that her ideas were going to be more engaging for her and therefore produce better results. So please don't work on ideas for the sole reasons of it being suggested by a teacher, a parent or a friend. I mean, I can understand people try to inspire you and try to get you started, which is really kind, but in the end, it's only your interests that are going to get you fired up. Also consider this. Suppose that you're applying to a college that interview candidates, because some do, by Skype. How are you going to talk and explain your work when you don't feel passionately about it yourself? And that, incidentally, was where I really let myself down. I couldn't talk about my work because it was so frightfully boring, to be quite honest. So, risk-taking and getting out of your comfort zone. You can't just keep doing what you know works. If you like drawing in pencil and coloured pencil, and you really like it, you're really good at it, then don't do it anymore. Do something that challenges you and gets you to think. Make some mistakes. Recognise these mistakes, don't hide them, and show what you've learnt from this. Reflecting and making reasoned decisions is really important. You can't make decisions about the ways in which to pursue your ideas with answers like, "I'd just like it," or "I don't know." Get thinking and challenging yourself. So, we've got a few examples of pages from successful portfolios here, and this can be useful and inspiring, but that's where it really needs to stay. This isn't how you do it, this is how somebody did do it, but it's not a blueprint for you to copy. It needs to be your story, your ideas, and it needs to come from you. So, another testimonial. When we discovered Portfolio Oomph by chance, it was just what we needed. Access to advice from someone independent in the art world. It was also a flexible service, which I think was a great strength. Many thanks for supporting Lachlan in developing his ideas, skills and abilities, and for going the extra mile at each point when it was needed, and giving him the confidence to believe in what he wanted to achieve. I'm absolutely delighted and excited for him getting into GSA to the particular course that he wanted to get on, Sculpture and Environmental Art. If we'd not discovered Portfolio Oomph, I think it would have taken Lachlan at least another year to get to the point of where he is at now. So that was from Lachlan's mum, Kathleen. We also have another testimonial from one of our students who's bought some of our ebooks. I've applied for the second year to the General Foundation course at University of Dundee last year, and I was unsuccessful. As I lived outside the UK in Hungary, Portfolio Oomph seemed to be the only source of help, and well, this turned out to be also the best solution as I worked through her learning materials. Julie invites all clients to a private Facebook group, and she regularly inquires about every individual's progress regarding both enrolment and artistic progress, and she gives additional advice to everyone and engages in some smart talk. I'm happy to say I'm now studying at Duncan Jordanston College of Art in Dundee. Great. So would you like to know how to apply this to your situation? For the first time, we're offering our commitment to Portfolio Excellent, which is normally reserved for our face-to-face private clients, and our proven methods to you remotely. So fasten your seatbelts, folks. It's an exciting time. Let us help you to plan, create and succeed in your future career. And join us to get instant access to our course. So who's the course for? It's for you if you're committed to dedicating your time to a serious plan to get into an undergraduate art course in the UK. You must have the required eligibility from your dream colleges, but you're just lacking that important portfolio. You must be self-motivated and not need your hand-holding all the way. We'll have plenty of instructions for you to follow, but it's important that you can run with an idea and explore things alone. We can't do it all for you. It's not based on skills acquisition, it's based on exploring ideas and concepts and what makes you tick. Skills will be acquired along the way, so don't worry. However, the emphasis is on the ideas, projects and the critical reflection. So, here's some details about the course. It's a 20-week course and you can start it at any time of the year. First registrations are in September. It's 100% online, so you can study anywhere in the world at a time, pace and place for your own convenience and flexibility. We ask for a 10-hour-a-week commitment minimum, and how you do this is up to you, so that could be 2 hours in the evenings each day, at least, to enable the full effect of the course content to be exploited. The more time you can commit to the course, the further you'll progress your ideas and the deeper your concepts will be, because the colleges look for deep engagement in your ideas. We've got 5 one-hour-long critiques of your work by me, Julie Reid, via Skype, giving feedback, advice and confidence. And this is to ensure that the plan is working. Coaching gives you accountability, a structure and a plan for the end result. A UCAS personal statement support and review. This gives you outside input on your statement and to ensure that you're communicating well what a great prospective student you are. We've got 5 compelling projects that will develop your creativity and encourage risk-taking, experimentation and individuality. The projects cover ideas around current affairs and social issues, personal story and identity, environment and process, with a self-led project nearer the end. We'll work with drawing in sketchbooks and, depending on your area of interest, many materials and techniques that will translate your ideas. So the colleges want to see something that's your take on the world, not the same old school-led projects. You'll learn how to reflect on, analyse and evaluate your work, and this fulfills the requirement from the colleges for a student to possess strong critical judgment skills. Your work will develop in relation to other artists and designers, which is context. The colleges assess your portfolio on context, and you'll need to demonstrate that you're aware of other relevant contemporary artists and designers. You'll learn how to take good photos of your work, and this is firstly important because you're going to send us work for our tutorials and for us to review, but then it's also essential that your work is represented well for your digital portfolio submission to the colleges and universities. Interview guidance and advice. You may be asked to take part in a Skype interview, and how you come across in an interview can make or break your application. You need to be able to talk about your work with confidence. Also, our Skype tutorials assist in this process. So Portfolio Oomph will then compile your digital portfolio with your opinions at the core. We don't just let you go then, as this time can be crucial, and you can get it horrendously wrong just putting the final touches together. And if that wasn't exciting enough, we've got 2 bonuses. We have a private Facebook support group where you can meet like-minded people, and this group will boost morale, build motivation, and you'll stay on track, ensuring that it's not just a course that you've bought and done nothing with. We've also included exclusive access to our video presentation, Drawing, Keeping It Current, that was commissioned for the Art of Education, and this will challenge your views on drawing and how you can embed it in your creative practice. So the cost. The course, the full payment of £1,800, or you can pay in 2 instalments of £990 each. So if you'd like to sign up for the course, then click the link below this video, but do stick around because we've got a free gift for you and we'll tell you about that now. Okay, so why did you show up today? I'm guessing because you're feeling pretty stuck and you've got nowhere else to turn. You're also maybe thinking, how do I make all of this work today so that I can get up and running quickly? And you're feeling that you can't get started for fear of failure. The trick is just to get started. Ideas will follow, and your sketchbooks will fill. So in conclusion, I've just told you how to make heads turn and what you need to do to get into art college. And you have a choice to make. Do you sit back where this is just another day, and if you do that, you'll quite possibly remain stuck? You can either take what I've taught you here today and stay stuck for the next year or two, or give up and maybe settle for second best, or not even a creative career at all. If you've waited long enough to dare to live your dreams, let this be the year that you finally get to art college. Our course puts an end to the confusion that you'll be feeling, and you won't find a course quite like this that develops your creative thinking alongside the technical skills. So if you're ready to sign up and join us, then please visit the link below this video. But if you want to claim your free gift, that I've set aside 45 minutes to talk to you, if you need to, about getting this strategy right, and there's no cost for this session. If you click Book Skype Appointment, you'll be taken to an online calendar that gives you a range of times that you can book to talk to me about your work and your application. On the call, we'll help plan out exactly what steps you'll need to take, in what order, to really get this show on the road, and how our course can help you. Simply click the link at the end of the video to apply for an initial tutoring session. So many thanks, and I wish you all the best with your application for Art College this year. We hope to speak to some of you on the tutorial that we've offered, but otherwise we'll see you inside the course.